Episode 177 of the Wilderness Podcast is brought to you by our supporters. If you want to support the show, one way you can do that is by going to patreon.com/thewilderness-podcast. We got some rewards and some exclusive offers, so if that's something you're interested in, maybe check it out. You might find it worth it, or maybe not. That's okay too. So I want to welcome Cynical Cyanide, Burt Macklin, the Burt Macklin, that's right, and Ferry for joining the Patreon crew this week. And of course, every episode is dedicated to some of our Patreon supporters. So this week, I want to dedicate it to Rozel. And of course, every episode is dedicated to our elite supporters, our top tier supporters: Aiden A, Gentinu, Grunkle G, Spleemo, Dread Monkey, also known as Dreadful Monkeys, Matiowas, Szechuan, Hoyt, Cynical Cyanide, and Strosity. And guys, I have to give a super awesome, amazing shout out to Strosity. What does that mean? I actually have no idea. I guess we're gonna find out. But he is deserving of many shout outs because I guess there's some sort of glitch in the system and he was being overlooked. So, again, yeah, super awesome shout out to Strosity. Guys, we did an episode together. Oh, God, it's about a year now, a little bit over a year, back when kind of COVID first hit. So if you guys want to go listen to that one, it's a really fun episode. You can go back and check it out. Yeah, and of course, if Patreon is not your thing, that's quite all right. You can also support the show by doing a one-time payment on buymeacoffee.com/dills. So the people who have kept me caffeinated and kept me going throughout the week, this week is Timbuktu25, Salamander, Caradoc, and Terry Paramore. Thank you so much for all of the support. It truly means a lot. And we're actually starting a new thing because of all the support we've been getting. More on that later on when we get to the Grand Exchange part. But without further ado, let's get into the episode. Welcome to episode 177 of the Wilderness Podcast. I'm your host, Dills, and joining me today is Mr. Heartless. How's it going, dude?
Hey, Dills. Doing well. How are you?
Pretty good. This has been, oh man, I want to say eventful, but it's been a week. We had some Theater of Blood. They call it the new modes of Theater of Blood that came out this week. So we got story mode and hard mode. And I feel like people are equally happy, while also kind of peeved about the content.
Yep, I would say so.
Yeah, from what I've seen, people are happy with hard mode, but people are not very happy with story mode, myself included. So we'll get into that in a second, but before we do, Heartless, what have you been up to this week?
Holy guacamole, it's been a week. So obviously, so last week I got the Elysian Sigil, which is like the thing that you need to attach to a blessed spirit shield. But since I got it so spooned and so early, like on 181 kills, I didn't actually have a holy elixir yet. I had a few spirit shields which are 1 in 64, but I didn't have the 1 in 170 holy elixir. So I need that to get the Ellie all sorted. So I absolutely sent Corp. I did nothing but Corp. Yeah, I was so motivated. I did 100 kills in 4 days, which is
okay.
A solo, which is pretty insane. I think they take 15 minutes each. So I had a couple days off there. So obviously I was grinding, but I was gaming hard. And I eventually got it on 290 KC. I got the elixir.
Oh, nice.
And then I just
immediately
put it together. So feels good.
Did you get to test out have you been testing out the Ellie?
Yes, I have. So okay, let me just get this clear. It is a luxury item. Like there's a reason that the supply is really low in the market, but also the demand is very low because it's mostly like, it's very useful, but only at specific places. Because
it's like probably like the last big item you buy.
Yeah, that or a harm orb. Because it's so expensive for what it does. Like, obviously, it's good at the Inferno. It's good at, like, Arma and some God Wars dungeon. It's good for tanking. But tanking isn't really a part of the game, and we've talked about that before.
Mm-hmm.
So the Ellie ends up being not as useful as you might think, even though I think and people will probably agree, it's a very overpowered item. Like, it reduces 17.5% of all incoming damage. But the reality of the way RuneScape is played is that you just want to be dishing out more damage than sort of soaking it up. So until there's a place for it to truly shine, it's sort of just going to be one of those niche items. But best in slot bank standing. I've already been had many conversations with people calling me a spoon, so feels good.
Nice.
Yeah, feels
Do
good.
you wish that tanking was more of a thing in this game? Like, do you wish there was like a tank role for a lot of PVM content?
Well,
There kind of is,
but I hope that in like a third raids, which was basically where they're gonna have to implement it, that there's like specific roles for each people. So in the current raids, there is a tank at Verzik, but you're still just like dishing damage. The tank just means that you have to make sure she doesn't melee you, like by stepping under her, so you don't get quite as much DPS, but you're still just like scything her or whipping or whatever. I wish there was a role that you were chosen and you don't actually deal damage, but it's your responsibility to keep your team safe. Something like that. I think that would be really interesting, sort of a cool angle.
I think there's room for it, because I think with Theater of Blood hard mode coming out today, a lot of people have been discussing mechanics and like just the way RuneScape is, and a lot of people say like, oh, because of how the game is with the tick system, we're very limited on what kind of mechanics we can have. But I don't think that's true at all. I think Jagex just has to be a little bit more creative in how the mechanics work, but I don't think we're like limited. I don't think we've hit a point where it's like, okay, now we have to recycle mechanics. And I saw a little bit of conversation happening with that. I mean, not a whole lot, but I just saw a few comments on Reddit. And I think there definitely is room for like an actual designated tank role where that's probably might be different than what we already have in the game. We kind of see it with like Nightmare, where I think it's the higher defense you have, it'll target you.
Yeah, but in that case, then the person just wears a torso. One person wears a Vandal's chestplate and everyone else wears a torso, so you're still dishing out the same DPS. So I think the thing that holds us back is that any player can get any item in this game, unlike other MMOs like World of Warcraft, where you're kind of locked in and you are a niche character sort of from the outset by picking a class and a race, which makes raiding a lot more interesting because you can have a lot more variety. Whereas here, everyone just wears the exact same gear and does the raid. So in the best possible thing, because everyone has the items available to them. And I think that's maybe where we have so many freedoms that it almost holds us back in a way that we don't have like class or sort of like specific types of accounts.
Yeah, and it's kind of the beauty of it. So you're not like stuck, forever a healer, as like people would say in like World of Warcraft or something, where, you decide to go a account build where you're a tank or you're a healer, and next thing you know, if you're in a clan or if you're in a party, people are always like, yeah, you're always going to be the tank because we don't want to be a tank and you're already one, so you're the designated forever tank. And it's
some people like doing that role, but obviously it's not as much fun as dealing DPS. So I guess back to your overall question, I don't really think it's pretty hard to implement those kind of mechanics. It's possible, but the Ellie's is probably just always going to be what it is, which is a niche, very expensive but great defensive option in those scenarios. So I'll end up getting used of it at I'll probably start bringing it to chambers. I've been learning some solo raids, which I actually literally just finished one before we started recording and got my first deathless. I got rewarded with a dexterous prayer scroll, so that was pretty cool.
Now, when you say your first deathless, do you normally? So I'm going back like years ago when I was learning it myself. I would always suicide before I even started the fight, so that you would die and you would place extra food in the Ulm fight room, and then this way, when I'm going in there to fight again, I basically have 2 inventories full of food, and then I wouldn't die. Right. Do you do something similar, or like was that what you were doing before?
No, I just prep and go in. And what I used to do is I've done quite a few, maybe like a dozen, and I've died on all of them at Ulm at specific parts. But I noticed myself dying later and later into the phases, and not to like getting stacked out. So I was just dying of attrition, so running out of supplies. So I was like, I just wanted to keep doing that because I didn't really mind losing a few points here and there. They're pretty negligible. And at the end of the day, I wanted to sort of grasp on how good I was at it. I'm still very bad at it, like, don't get me wrong. But I think I'll start to be able to get deathlesses, and then I'll sort of perfect my my skills as I keep going. They're definitely scuffed still, but they're very fun.
Yeah, it's probably nice to see progress too.
Definitely. And my gear is like really, I don't really need anything for it. I didn't even bring the Ellie on this one. It's not it's not necessary. Theoretically, you don't even get hit while you're maging, so it's really only good for mutadiles.
Right. Okay.
But when I'm very comfortable and I have lots of supplies left over, then I'll probably start to bring it for fun.
Oh hell yeah!
But I'll take it on learners and anywhere where like I can get away with it, because you gotta bring it. You gotta break it out for sure. It does feel pretty cool to have such a rare item.
Yeah, that is amazing. That's like the beauty of it. It's the curse and the beauty of like an Iron Man, where it's like to obtain all of the luxury and really rare items. It's like, yeah, most people are not gonna get even most of them, but being an Iron Man, you're probably bound to get lucky on one of them, and that's I think a few weeks ago we saw someone post in the Discord that they got some third age piece, so stuff like that too. Where you're like, you're not going to get every third age piece, but it's exciting to, you still have the chance of getting one ultra rare item just because of, everything we're doing in this game.
Yeah, you're always doing stuff. So like PVM wise, you're bound to get lucky some places and you're bound to go dry some places. And then you'll probably go on rate at most places. So sometimes, you get lucky. And I think my account overall has been lucky at the right places.
Nice.
Yeah, I went and dry at the sort of right places as well. I went really dry at Zulrah, which turned out to be not a big deal because now I don't have to worry about scales ever.
Right.
And then getting lucky at like Hydra and Corp were pretty good too. So can't complain at all. Pretty happy with the way RNG has rolled in my favor. I also got another pretty sick drop this week.
Oh yeah?
I don't know if you saw in the chat, but so basically since I was just sending Corp, I was it's been really busy at work. Like final report cards are coming up and I'm trying to plan like a year-end field trip.
Oh, cool.
Which I want to get your opinion on as well.
To the library to play some RuneScape.
Exactly. So what I've been doing is farm runs at work just to try and keep on the herb lore. Try to bank 99. And I'm doing cactuses as well because I'm like low-key going for the Tangle route.
Okay.
And the other night, cactuses is a pretty good chance, but I'm only doing 2 of them, not like trees. I went to the patch while I was in chat with everyone because I just finished Corp for the night. I was like, I will do a quick farm run. And I got Tangle Root at the Alcarid.
Oh, you
patch.
got it?
Yeah, I got it. It's so cool.
Oh, shit.
So,
are you 99?
I'm 99 and I have 20.5 mil experience. So pretty high XP. But I'm still like technically under rate for the pet. I think it's like, it's based on like rolls, but closer to 30 million is sort of what you'd expect to see it. But I didn't get it on my other account either.
People use the Hespori seeds as like a gauge. I forget what it is. It's like
500 or something. I can't remember.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah,
so if you look at your collection log, yeah.
I had 300, so definitely got it early, but I mean, I didn't get it on my other account getting 99 either, so I know you can't really count that, but it feels cool. I really love that pet, dude. It's just one of my favorites.
It is one of the coolest pets, especially with all the different transmogs they have for it now.
Yeah,
man, you can really make it look sick. Yeah, dude, it's awesome.
The way he walks is just so satisfying. It's just a small tree following you around. You can't go wrong with that. Sweet. So those were it's been a good week.
Very nice, very nice.
What about you, dude? What about you?
Oh man, so I've been having like computer problems. I've been mentioning, I don't know if I mentioned it on the podcast, but even before we start recording, I would have to boot up my laptop. I'd have to set up a Zoom call on my laptop, and then I'd be on my PC in the Zoom call as like a backup recording in case I disconnect. I don't lose my recording from my recording software. It was a huge pain. Yeah, I had to set up just in case because it was randomly crashing nonstop and I couldn't figure out why. I thought it was to do with a Windows update because I did a Windows update and then it just started crashing. But it was weird. It would crash like 10 times in one day and like stuck in loops. But then it would also not crash for like 4 days straight. So it was really strange. I always got my hopes like, oh, maybe the Windows update, maybe another one came out, fixed it, and now we're good. And oh man, I was just like killing myself trying to figure out because I'm not super computer like savvy compared to like other people. Some people are really good at building computers, and I had a friend help me build the computer that I'm on now, and I learned a lot from it. But anytime I need to upgrade a part in my computer or switch something out, I feel like I've lost everything I learned that has to do with like building a computer because I'm like, oh, I don't know how good like my graphics card is. And the naming conventions, it's like a Radeon 480X. Is that better than a GT 1080 or what? I'm kind of just thrown out.
I see what you mean.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't understand what any of this is. What is an Intel i5 6500? Like, I'm like, you know what I mean? It's like very confusing, and it takes a lot of time for me to learn what that is. And then when I do learn it, I upgrade my computer, and then I forget everything I learned about it.
Yeah, hardware changes quickly too. So, like, if you build your computer and don't really like upgrade it for a couple of years, like hardware has really you've skipped a few generations by that point.
Yeah. People always say don't get the newest graphics card. It's usually super overpriced. Get the year before.
Get slightly older one. Yeah, that's definitely the play.
Which makes sense. And
are you looking to get like a new graphics card?
No, I mean, I would hope not, because I play RuneScape, so I don't really need anything too crazy, but I got the Oculus Rift a couple years ago, and then I realized I had to upgrade my graphics card, which was kind of hard to do because I was like, every game that I play, like like Skyrim or RimWorld or RuneScape or whatever it is, whatever game I'm playing on my computer, the graphics card that I had, it was good. I never had any issues, and it might not be able to play on the best graphics, but not a huge deal. So it's kind of hard to upgrade it just for VR. So I was like, okay, well, whatever. So I did that. But I don't need the best. I just need something that's just good enough. A lot of the games that I play don't have good graphics. Like RuneScape or like RimWorld or, those games, they have very simple graphics. So it's like, you don't need anything too crazy. And that being said, at some point, this is my ignorance of how computers work. I do a lot of audio editing and stuff, so it is nice to have a beefier system so stuff runs faster and smoother and doesn't get all clogged up when I'm trying to export a podcast or something. You know what I mean?
True. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, so I was trying to figure out what was wrong with my computer, and I was looking all over online, and they roll back an update, but the update happened more than 10 days ago. You can't do it, so I couldn't do it. People said to reinstall Windows and wipe everything off your computer, so I tried to do that, but then that would give me an error. So then, oh my god, I just tried everything. I bought a new USB stick to to do the Windows update off of it to wipe everything off. But then, while I was waiting for that to come, I was just talking in the clan chat, and I gotta give a shout out to Uncle Kratos because he really came in clutch so far. So far, he helped me fix it enough that it hasn't crashed since. But he told me to do these RAM tests to make sure my RAM wasn't pooched, and it turned out one of my sticks of RAM actually did kind of crap out on me. Popped that bad boy out, and now it's been running smooth ever since.
Beautiful.
So, yeah, it's amazing. So that we're working pretty good. So now that we're running smoother, I kind of wanted to. I have a huge backlog of video games that I want to play, but I'm always stuck playing RuneScape. Not stuck, but I always choose to play RuneScape. So I was like, you know what? Last night I was like, it's Friday night. I'm going to play some RuneScape. I'll do some rune crafting though, but I'm going to play another game on the side because I have all these games that I haven't played, and I have one of them on my list was called Banished, which was it's like a city builder game where you have these settlers who got banished from their village or whatever, so they're looking to build a new, start up their own settlement. So you kind of have to manage that, and so I had to run through the tutorial because I haven't really played it. So as I was running through the tutorial, and it was so complicated, it was like, you have your 4 families, you got to set these people to be fishers because you need this much food, but make sure you have warm clothes for the winter. So you need to have some farmers who are farming wool. You need a tailor to make the wool into clothing. Oh, but you also need someone to be wood cutting so that you can always have your fire log. Like you have logs to start fires in the houses to keep people warm and all this shit. And as I'm sitting there doing it, I'm like, man, I think this is why I always go back to RuneScape. I just want to play a game. I don't want to think this hard. This is it's a Friday night. I just want to chill.
Yep.
So I blew through the tutorial and I tried playing it and I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be a huge learning curve on this one. And then I was like, let me just play some RuneScape. I'm gonna watch some YouTube, and then I'll come back and I'll play this game, or I'll play another one. So I did that, and then of course it's Friday night. We had so I gotta give a shout out to some guy in the clan chat. decided to have a massive drop party last night.
Oh yeah, that was so fun.
He said it was 600 mil, but I don't think it was. It had to be like
he said it was
over
closer,
a bill.
He said it was closer to a bill. Yeah,
crazy. So a bunch of people showed up there, and then I was like, okay, looks like I'm not playing. Looks like I'm playing RuneScape tonight. I'm not gonna play anything else but RuneScape. It looks like, and yeah. So anyways, yeah, he did the drop party. But what I thought was really cool, we did it in the clan hall, and the clan hall is like the perfect place to have drop parties.
Oh, it's so fun.
Oh, it's like, I don't know if like they considered this when they were designing it, but it just worked out perfectly because one, I think items stay on the ground longer in the clan hall. Do you know if that's true or not?
Yeah, I think it stays on quite a lot longer.
Yeah, okay, so that's what it felt like. But and if you don't know about the clan, if you haven't been to a clan hall yet, there's like the main hall where you have some places you can sit down and there's some tables, and then there is a stairway that kind of goes up to like a balcony area, and there's a bank there, and there is a storage. There's 2 storage rooms on each side, and there's an altar. So it's kind of like a just like an upper level. It's pretty straightforward. But then also you can go outside of your clan hall, and you can wrap around a little pathway that goes around it. But what's great is like you can be in the middle of the clan hall, and items will appear in your clan hall somewhere, but it takes people like 20 seconds to get there, and it becomes this mad dash where everyone's running to go pick up these items. Versus being at the Grand Exchange or somewhere where it's like an item drops and it's probably going to be picked up within a couple seconds
by random. Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's just you and your clan in the hall, so
that too. Yeah,
you're not worried about like random people showing up if there's a teleport nearby. You basically have to go somewhere super remote in order to make it work.
And even then though, like I don't know any places that you could drop items that are like technically a far walk away, but you can still see it. Like if you're in the clan hall and an item appears outside, it's probably going to take you like 10-15 seconds to run there, something like that, because it's not like just the way that what the clan hall is there's only a back door, there's no front door, because the front door is where the portal is, but you can have items like anyways. So it was something that I never really thought, but then seeing that giant drop party, I was like, the clan hall's really great for drop parties, and not just because it's just for your clan, but also because like everyone can be on the ground floor and they can see items that pop up upstairs, and it's going to take them a bit to run there. So it's kind of it's more exciting to watch 5 people running to go grab this item. Anyway, so I saw that, and I thought that was like pretty cool. So that was worth mentioning.
Yeah, it was really nice of some guy to do that. We should do a quick aside. Yes, some guy he loves to stake, which is why he has so much like extra money to give to people, and he's a very generous dude. But I have to say, for those of you that are thinking you can just easily get to like a 7 or 8 bill bank staking, like sure you could, or you could easily lose it all. You have to be willing to risk it all if you want to make a bank that big through staking, and some guy is no exception. He's got massive balls. I've seen some of the stakes that he's done.
For every one person that lucks out hardcore, there's like 2 people who go get cleaned. And I feel like I mention this story every couple of months when we bring it up. But when I was starting this podcast, me and Deegan, who my brother, and he was my first co-host with it, we were sitting down planning it, and I was talking with another friend of ours, and he was going to join us as well. And he was like a pure account. He loved PKing, but his pure was also his main. And then he discovered staking, and he became like addicted to the duel arena, and like he became like an addict to the point where it's like he would go, he swore he knew, like he had a method for winning stakes.
That's like delusional level.
Yeah.
Like, I some guy is like one of the healthier stakers I've ever seen. He seems to have like a pretty good mindset on it. Like he'll just do a few, and then if he loses too much, sometimes not all the time. there are moments, but it's not a nice place to be, I can imagine.
A lot of people call for its removal, and I can understand why. But if you can be healthy about it, I used to go and I'd bring 5. I treat it the same way I would treat a casino in real life. I go to the duel arena. I bring maybe 5 mil, and I'm like, this is it. And I stake until it's all gone, or until I'm like make some money off of it. I usually lose it all, but I just go there to have fun.
The real problem, dude, is when, like, let's say you go for some big stakes, you get some money, you start to lose it all, and then you head back to your bank to like get the big items out to sell them to like keep staking. Yep. That's when it becomes very scary, very quickly. So just if you do plan on going there, just know what you're getting yourself into. Like,
treat it like it's a casino. I like going to the casino. It's a lot of fun, but I'll bring no more than like $200 as long as I even have $200 to spend on something that's fun. And I go there for a fun night. I don't go there to make money. I go there to like have some drinks.
Yeah, you're
enjoy,
right. They are basically the same thing. So yeah, just gamble responsibly. That's all we can say. And if your personality, you know yourself better than we do, just don't go there if you think it's going to be a problem. You can make tons of money. Like some guy made like 3 bill just PVMing. So you can make tons of money doing that too. So
oh yeah,
it's not.
That's where I'm
it's
at.
The only place to make money. It's just
that's where I'm at with my account now. I'm like, I don't go to the duel arena because you work hard for your money. You don't want to just lose it in one stake. That's how I feel. And
exactly.
Going back to that guy who had the problem, he started cleaning out his bank because he kept saying like, "Oh, I'm gonna win it all back. I just gotta sell off my Zerker ring. I gotta sell off my torture,
the rings, dude." When you go back for the rings and unview them, my heart just sinks when that happens. I've seen it. I've seen someone lose everything, go from like a 1.5 bill to nothing in Discord, and it's like, it's tough to watch, man. It's tough to watch.
He came back like after getting cleaned out. He basically quit, but he came back a couple months later, being like, "Okay, I'm gonna play again, but I need some. Can you give me?" He asked, "Can I have some like a 5 mil loan so that I can get started again?" And I was like, "Sure, I'll give it to you, like because you're my friend, but I know I'm not gonna get this money back." And then of course he disappears off RuneScape and never see him since. But
I think
the duel arena can be scary.
And the ultimate problem is it leads to the same place, in my opinion. So either you get, let's say there's 2 options. Basically, you go even, whatever, or you win a little bit of money or lose a little bit. That's whatever. Let's say you get cleaned. That's the one extreme. That's very possible to happen. You quit the game because you don't. There's nothing to play for anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
That happens a lot. Or you win really, really big, and now you've got like an enormous bank. We're talking like 5+ bill, where you can buy everything in the game. But then you have so much money that the game becomes not exciting anymore, especially if you've done all the content in it. So I feel like it's almost a place where accounts go to die. Main accounts, it's sort of the end game, where if you end up there quite often, then you're sort of maybe bored with the mode and looking for something different.
I know a lot of people, they get cleaned out at the duel arena. They're like, I'm going to go to make an Iron Man now, but
yeah, and that's just like a way out in a way of the game mode to like justify yourself moving on to a different account when you spent so much time on this one. And just be honest, just do it if you feel like that.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyways, that's enough about the duel arena. Some guy is very generous dude, and thanks for the drop party. Everyone had so much fun.
But yeah, there's my week in a nutshell. Basically, I should be getting 97 rune crafting. I haven't been playing too much because of my computer's been having issues. I've been it was having issues. I kind of took a break there, but yeah, rune crafting, still doing Venenatus. I'm at like 1,200 kills.
Nice.
No pet yet.
That's okay. You'll get it. It's a sweet pet.
Yeah, we'll get there. But it's good. It's such good money.
Oh,
Venenatus is such good money. I'm gonna look at. Let's see what my log is right now. I have 800 kills logged with 66 mil. So it's like
sounds about right. Red spider's eggs, onyx bolt tips.
Oh,
dragon pickaxes. Yeah, it's got good stuff there.
And if you learn the safe spot, it's pretty AFK. But I'm looking forward to when they switch the boss, because like they do these, they rework it, because the boss gives good money, but I think it deserves to be a fun fight.
Oh my god, Venenatus absolutely slaps.
Yeah.
Like, have you tried to like face tank it before, like while you're setting up the lore?
Yeah. Sometimes it messes up and you do it, and I used to do it in like small groups when I was like lower levels. That was always fun to do. Get like 4 or 5 people and you just kill it how it's supposed to be killed.
It can stack you for like a 90 though, with the melee plus the mage together.
Oh yeah.
It's a strong ball. I mean, all of the wilderness bosses just just destroy you. Like there's basically no way to. I know Venenatus you can like venge it and stuff, but even then it's very sketchy.
Yeah.
All of them.
Their
Callisto
mechanics
hits hard. Yeah, the only realistic way to farm them is to safe spot them.
Yeah, it's sad. Like, yeah, that shouldn't be the case. Scorpia, which you can't save spot, it's like the one boss that's like actually kind of fun to kill, and it's not. The drops suck, but I kind of enjoy killing that.
They're awful drops. Yeah, the pet's a really easy pet to get though. It's only 1 in 2,000, and you risk
all the wildy
like
pets are, I think.
You risk like 15k. So if you're like a main that really, really wants a pet, I would honestly consider going for Scorpio, even though the drops suck. If you're really interested in a pet, it's a cool pet. I don't actually see very many of them. And like really, you risk nothing when you go for it. So
yeah, exactly. It's an easy pet. It's one of the fastest pets to get, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, it is.
And yeah, and not a lot of people get it because you don't make much money along the way. So, and then it being in the wilderness also adds a little layer.
They just don't want to deal with the PKers. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like you very rarely see PKers there, especially if you can get onto a total world.
Oh yeah.
The thing about total worlds that I've noticed is like they're usually accessed by people that have that are going out for a fun trip with their friends, which is whatever. You don't see those people very much, but like real PKers, I would call them, that bring like a fair chunk of risk. They're in ARMs, they have a toxic staff, and like claws or an AGS, those kind of guys. And those people are looking to kill other PKers or like high level to get some actual money out of PVMers. So they're going to be places like Black Chins and people with crossbows. So Venenatus. They're going to be looking for fights with other people at like Lava Dragons, Chaos Altar. They're not going to be coming for your 16k up at Scorpia. So
even at Venenatus, like they'll try to kill you. But if there's been a few times where I'm sitting there, one team logs in, they coming to attack me, but then another team logs in just out of coincidence, and the teams will kind of fight each other because it's more fun and more money. So it doesn't happen often, but that is the ecosystem Jagex is looking for. It's just, that's what they want.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'll get a little sidetracked there, but yeah.
Yeah. Good times. Let's move on. Let's move on.
Okay. The news of the week, we got entry mode and hard mode of Theater of Blood. All right. What should we start off complaining or start off praising?
Let's start with, have you done any hard mode?
I have not, but I've done it. What do they say? Is it vicariously?
Vicariously, like through someone? Yeah.
I always thought it was bi-curiously.
Vicariously, like you've experienced it through someone else. Yes. Okay, yeah, let's start with hard mode.
Okay, so yeah, they released hard mode, and it is what it sounds like. It's a hard version of Theater of Blood. They made a tweak to a lot of the mechanics, and we were kind of speculating, I think even last episode, about what we're going to be expecting. Is it going to be crazy hard? Is it just going to be a little bit toned up? From what I've seen, it's harder.
Do you want me to run through like the room mechanics? Because I got to send a few attempts with on day one with the friends.
Yeah, let's get the gist of it for the people who might have tried it.
I'm not gonna like explain what it used to be like, but I'll explain the differences. I'll assume people have like a basic knowledge of ToB. So in Maiden, which is the first room, usually the crabs spawn and you freeze them. Exact same thing, but if the crabs get through to her, not only will she deal more damage, but she will increase her attack speed, which is very scary because her attacks can start to hit very hard. There's also this thing where the bloods will spawn normally, and if you can just like kill them, or like they'll eventually go away if you freeze them. Like so they'll be running around, these little blood splatters basically, and they'll leave a trail of blood behind. And if you stand on it, you take damage, you heal her, and you lose your like prayer and stats. So you don't want to stand on it. But then the trail will eventually disappear, like kind of like acid. But in hard mode, the trail does not disappear. So when the floor gets painted by bloods, it's big trouble because you can no longer stand on those tiles. So it's pretty scary. But it's honestly a very easy room because as long as you don't make mistakes, it's basically the same. Because you're only if you get hit by her blood attack, then she'll spawn the bloods. But if you don't no one gets hit by it and you freeze properly, then it's the same status quo. So pretty straightforward room, that one. Bloat. Bloat is very scary. I think Bloat is the scariest room in all of it. So the meat drops constantly. So usually it never used to drop at the beginning when you walked in. Meat drops at all times, including when Bloat goes down. So normally he like runs around, you run around, and the meat just never stops dropping. So you have to be like fully paying attention, or you get killed there. That's really the only difference as far as I can remember in that room.
And I think he runs the whole time, doesn't he?
Yeah, he runs the whole time. But that's that's what we expected, and it's kind of what he already does for the most part. So, that's a full attention room. Very easy to die there. What else happens? Nilo's is the next room. So the Nilo spawns these like mini boss Nilos, like 3 of them in the middle of the room. So you have to kill those, which is kind of annoying. So he'll change between the 3 phases, the boss, and you have to kill it while killing the waves. But I'm pretty sure the pillars have more health in 4-mans anyways, from what I was running.
No, yeah, they do. From what I read.
It felt like just a little bit more engaging and actually more fun and almost easier in a way, because the pillars had more health. So that room was cool. And then the boss just shits damage. I don't really know what's fully different, but I know if you're like, it matters on where you're standing in the room. So you like can't be next to each other for certain attacks, but then have to stack for other ones. So the boss is just more punishing. Soda Seg is probably the coolest change in my opinion. He throws 2 death balls instead of 1. And there's a way to like spread the damage, but what you do is you just try and skip them. But the really cool part is the maze now. So what used to happen is you have one person that's hidden and has to run this maze and everyone else has to follow them. But now there's 3 people in the maze and they get 1 section each. And there's one person that's blind on the outside. So they're seeing all the tiles from the 3 people. So I haven't actually been on the outside, but I've heard it's very scary.
Huh. Interesting.
So that's Soda Seg. And what else is there? Yeah, the Zarpus next. Zarpus basically there's less room to run around because he auto poisons the ground. So you've basically just made the size smaller. It's the same as before. And then when you kill him at the very end, it's actually arguably easier because if you're on scythes, he'll like turn every time he's attacked. But you can just stand on 4 corners and you can just get on off tick your scythes and then you can just AFK. So it's actually easier than before. As far as I know, that's what and I've been watching like streams as well to see like what are the Kriskis and Wooks and those kind of guys and Bodhi, what those guys are doing. So that's that. And then Verzik is pretty insane. So on P1, normally you just keep going behind the same pillar and then swap pillars while you're maging her down. But there's rocks that fall, so you have to swap pillars every time. It just takes more coordination. It's not actually necessarily more difficult. P2, which is when you're killing her and she's throwing the I call them cabbages at you, the range attacks. They actually leave a poison splat, so you just have to change your pattern of running. It's not too bad when you get used to it. I died my first time at P2, so but I could see how it's really not too bad. And then P3, which is when she's running around the room and aggroed onto someone. You just slap her down like normal, but there's this attack called Yellow. This is all from a memory. Yellows, which normally just stand on this yellow circle, and then you'll be safe. This time there's 3 of them, so you have to walk between each one of them. It's not too bad unless a tornado is following you, and that's very scary. So when we get her to 20%, she spawns these tornadoes, which is normal, and they chase you, and if they'll deal half your damage and heal her if they hit you and give her like more defense or something. That's all normal. But when you get her to 5% health, she heals up 1,000 hit points to like 35 or 40%.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so basically you have to deal more damage to her with purples out, which is always the sketchiest time because, she it gets very chaotic in there. And not only that, but she will swap aggro every single attack, every single special, I think. So every 4 or 5 attacks, she'll be swapping aggro, which makes it even. So it's just obviously a lot more chaotic and requires pretty good teamwork. And that's pretty much all I can remember.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people say that they're happy with the difficulty.
Yeah, but I don't even think it could have been harder, honestly, in my opinion. I know I didn't get a completion, but the boys got a completion day 1. In You want
I
it to
think,
be farmable, but like it wasn't really. In my opinion, wasn't. It was cool. They're cool changes, and it's like nice to have a hard mode. But I'm still like just overall, I think just disappointed.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, some people were disappointed that like they were watching people on Twitch that were able to defeat hard mode on their first try. They still might have struggled, but like they didn't die and have to restart.
That's not surprising. It's not like I didn't expect it to be a whole new raid. Don't get me wrong. And I expected those kind of people to be able to get through. But it seems like once things are figured out, it's just going to be a slightly more difficult version of Theater of Blood, and that's pretty much it. Not even like
worried that it would become the meta for getting money through ToB. You know what I mean?
And I don't think that's true because there's a lot more room for mistakes in hard mode. Like if you're not paying attention fully, you get extremely punished.
Okay.
Whereas in regular ToB, now going back to it after doing some hard modes, feels very casual. So I think regulars is going to be the money maker still.
Nice. That's good to hear.
At least just for consistency, because you pretty much with a decent team, you're guaranteed to get the KC every time, with very minimal deaths, if any. But with a hard mode, especially with how difficult P3 is at Verzik and how chaotic and how long you have to be with the purples, your chances to wipe are, I would say, high if you haven't got it on lock. So I don't know. I'm not sure how to feel. Like it's really fun to get new content. Don't get me wrong. It's like really fun to be, trying it out. But at the end of the day, I think I still like a little bit disappointed overall that we haven't really got anything in 2 years. I think that's what it is. I don't necessarily think it's this update. I'm pretty happy with hard mode overall. The items,
I think it's a reminder of our like how long it's been since we've had a raid. Yeah,
like what's like a day or two to like master a new difficulty of a mode. That's not like it is new content, but really it's just like dialing up the difficulty on the old content, which is not what anyone is really looking for.
Yeah, it's like the 6 Jads, right? The 6 Jads content they came out with a little bit ago. It's like
that
gives new content.
It gives me that kind of feeling like, oh, this is like cool, but it's sort of a flash in the pan type of thing rather than a lasting piece of content that I'd want to grind.
Yeah.
I most likely won't be doing it until I get a scythe at least. I'll send some attempts with friends, but I wouldn't be grinding it. Definitely not. The cosmetics look great though. I give them that. All of them do look really, really nice.
Yeah, so we'll move to that because if you do complete Theater of Blood hard mode, you have your chance of getting ornament kits for some of the uniques from Theater of Blood. So similar to how challenge mode Chambers of Xeric, you get a ancestral recolor. It turns it to like the green and grayish reskin. This is similar and kind of gives you some Saradomin reskins and what they call a sanguine ornament kit for the scythe. So you have your Sanguinesti ornament kit, which will turn it into instead of having a bat, it's going to have a owl. Personally, I've seen it in game. The owl looks kind of silly. It's kind of chunky.
That's not the Sanguine kit. The Sanguine kit is the one that goes on the scythe.
Yeah, right.
I think it's the Holy kit, or did you say
okay,
that?
the Saradomin themed.
Yeah, I think it's called a Holy kit, so it can go on the scythe, the staff, or the rapier.
Right. So yeah, it turns your Sanguinesti staff into the Saradomin version, which instead of having a bat on top, it has an owl. And seeing that in game, I thought the owl itself kind of looked silly. It was kind of it was a chunky looking boy.
I agree with you. Yeah,
it looks a little bit silly sitting on top of a staff. But I've heard the new animation, like the new spell attack, the way it looks cooler.
It looks great. Yeah, it's very visible.
That's cool. So that's all right. And then the Grazi rapier has a kind of like a golden, gilded handle recolor.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Yeah, it looks cool. And then as you mentioned, the scythe has 2 different transmogs or ornament kits. You have the Holy, which kind of turns it into a Saradomin looking scythe, obviously, which gives you the Saradomin cross, and the circle, which it looks cool, although the circle kind of gives me like Zeros vibes, but whatever.
It looks good though.
Yeah, it looks good. And then the Sanguinesti ornament kit for the scythe makes it look just like darker, more vampiric. It looks thicker.
I have like a blood red blade. It was a
Mhm.
community submission I saw it on Reddit.
Yeah.
So I'm glad they put it in. It looks so good. I've seen a few of those at theater already.
Yeah, it's nice. And then, of course, you also have the chance of getting the Lil Zik Metamorphosis. So you can change the Lil Zik pet you get from regular Theater of Blood, and it will turn into any one of the other bosses. And some of them look really, really cool. I've never been a huge fan of pets that kind of look humanoid. So the bloat metamorphosis, I'm not a huge fan of. But I'm not a huge fan of like the Bandos pet either, or the Ceradomin pet. I don't know. It's just, I guess it's a personal thing.
Fair enough.
Same with Vedion. I'm not a huge fan of any like humanoid looking pets, but some of the other pets I really like the Zarpus. It's like this giant bat, looks awesome. The
Maiden is great.
Yeah, they look really cool. So very nice. But that's you know what, I think that's hard mode right there. I don't think we're missing anything.
Yeah, it was fun. Great experience. And I'm glad, shout out to everyone in the Discord who either watched or participated on day one. It was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. So it was cool seeing people jump into that, because I remember, I guess, you know what, as a community, we weren't quite there when Theater of Blood came out. I remember we gathered a few of us to go, and we got to, I think the farthest we got was to the Nilo's room. And that was after some big old struggling, but we were lower levels. I think it was like a level 115 or something like that.
Trying new content for me, those are the nights that you remember. So I'm thankful that we got to experience that.
Mm-hmm.
I think the disappointment just comes from sort of things we've talked about before, where it's not what we wanted to see, but at least it's something. Nice to see
I think that's
new content.
It's a reminder. A lot of us, this is fun, and then a lot of us will look back and be like, when can we actually get this experience again? But the real thing, when can we experience what Theater of Blood was on release, but for the next raid? Like, that's something that I've been talking about.
New items. Yeah, definitely. We're ready for
raiding is, I almost want to consider raiding to be separate from PVM, only in the sense that raiding content in itself is so much different than like Corp or God Wars or the Nightmare of Ashiyama. They're both great, but it's hard to bring out a new boss that's going to satisfy what a raid can do. We bring, a group of people together, and then it's a marathon through 5 or 6 different bosses.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but going back now, we did get hard mode, but we also got story mode. And this is where I saw a lot of people weren't very happy. And you know what? I was not too thrilled about it myself when I saw it. I was pretty disappointed, because when we were speculating what story mode could be and what we think it might be, it was the way less than that. We talked about maybe having some dialogue, giving some lore about the theater. We said, oh my God, maybe not, but would it be amazing to have like a cutscene of like a team of adventurers going into the theater and then watching them get slain, and then we go in next. Cutscenes like that would be amazing. Are we going to get that? I don't know if we have enough time, but that would be cool. But instead, we got none of that. We got not even much dialogue or any dialogue.
They got nothing.
We got nothing. And that's where I was really upset about, because this is a new quest. So yeah, Theater of Blood story mode, I should say. It's an easier version of Theater of Blood, and it's tied to a new quest. So I guess we'll go through the actual content.
Calling it a quest is interesting.
Oh yeah, the memes have been pretty spicy this week.
And I definitely am on board with those for sure.
Yeah. So the actual content itself, doing Theater of Blood and story mode, it's not terrible. It's a toned down version of story mode of Theater of Blood, and your team gets 3 extra lives. So if everybody wipes, you get another chance. And so that itself, not terrible. You can't get any uniques or anything, but it's just a way for people to actually dip their toes in. Because doing Theater of Blood and doing raiding in general, it's very daunting when you haven't done it before. Now, that being said, the quest portion of it is I don't understand why Jagex even, oh my God, why did they even think this was going to go well? So this is my perspective of it. Okay, so I've already got 1 KC. I took my lunch at work when it came out, and I was like, okay, I got an hour. Let's go jump in. Let's try it out. Let's see what the quest is about. I probably won't finish it, but we'll just see. And I was expecting to talk to the guy, and he's saying, oh, hey, Mr. Adventurer, we're throwing you into the theater. Let's do it. But what really happened was I talked to the guy, and it said a chat box, talk to him about story mode Theater of Blood or whatever. I clicked that, and it's like, I don't even think he said anything, and he handed me 2 experience lamps, and I was
he said basically, "Oh shit, you've already done it, son. Here you go. Have some lamps. Quest over." Not even a pop-up window for the quest to be done.
That's it. There's no pop-up that you normally get with the scroll that says, "Congratulations, you beat this quest. Here's your rewards." I got 2 experience lamps, and I was like, "Oh, maybe I missed something?" So I had to go my quest log, and it was complete. I was like, "What? How is it complete? I haven't done anything. I don't even think I started the quest." So I both started and completed the quest in 1 dialogue. Now, so I was pissed. I was like, that's ridiculous. That's not a quest. That's not even like an achievement diary. Like, what the hell that's even worse than an achievement diary. So it turned out that it auto completes for anyone who had already finished Theater of Blood.
Like, it's just still they fail to realize what, like, a quest. They have been so good on their quests recently. Mm-hmm. Like, Dragon Slayer 2 Song of the Owls, these huge quests, but even the small ones, like Getting Ahead, it was funny and it was cute. You had to do this little
Below Ice
joke.
Mountain,
and yeah, Below Ice Mountain was an enjoyable quest with some good dialogue and some cool cutscenes and some funny things. This is like, I don't even think it meets the requirements for a quest.
No, and it made me go back to be like, did I misread the dev blog? And no, they just were very misleading. So I went back to read when they pitched it, and they said, here's their opening line. Old School's approach to storytelling is one of its greatest strengths. We always aim to combine compelling gameplay with narrative depth and to lead our players naturally towards more difficult content. With our new quest, Night at the Theater, we hope to introduce more players of different experience levels to the wicked delights of the infamous Theater of Blood. So you're like...
And that's cool, right? We talked about last week how we were like on board with that. Like, yeah, okay, it's a good place for like a testing ground. You learn things, and hopefully it's going to be this sweet quest. But what? Yeah.
Then you go in there and you're like, oh well, actually, the way they introduce a little bit more juice, some extra lore, is when you kill a boss, it drops a book. But the books are already in the game. You could look at them in Verzik's library. Now they just automatically drop, which is actually kind of worse. I think it's way more cool to go into this library and see, like, I want to search these bookshelves. Oh my God, there's books here with lore in it. But if these books are now just a drop that falls to the ground when you kill every boss,
it does.
You kind of lose that experience of like searching a room, and it's.
And like, come on, we're playing old school RuneScape. If we don't want to read, this is a video game. Yeah. Don't give me that shit. If I wanted to read, I would go and read one of the many books I should be reading. But instead, I'm playing old school RuneScape. So
yeah, we'll go to the wiki or have someone else.
It was a pretty embarrassing attempt at making a quest, in my opinion.
It was,
especially with their pedigree on quests recently. I really expected something sweet, flashy, maybe a few cutscenes. Some fun dialogue between the evil characters and your character or whatever, but there's just fucking nothing.
Nothing. And that's like the worst part. And so they, of course, on this week's live stream, they talked about it a bit, and people were saying this should be a mini quest. It actually even it shouldn't even be a mini quest, to be honest.
No,
but
it shouldn't. It should not be a mini quest. It should just be an option for like an intro to learning Theater of Blood, if that's what they want to do. It's just like an easy mode that you could replay through, where you could practice, take in like a lower tiered weapon and practice your P2 walks or something like that, so that you could get ready for the real theater.
And what they said on the live stream was like, they want to move away from mini quests because mini quests are kind of weird. They're like a mixture of actual mini quests and mixtures of like, they're like a blend of like achievement diary and weird Easter eggs and things that can't be considered a quest. And so they want to move away from it because it's just like a weird category. They don't really know what they're doing.
They're all like basically quests, though, if you think about it. Like Alfred Grimhand's Bar Crawl, hilarious one, where you have to go to all the bars and get drunk. That could straight up be a quest. Architectural Alliance, where you have to get maximum favor in all the houses. that is like too long to be considered a quest because it takes like 5 hours to complete, which is why I think it's there. You know, family pest, daddy's home, legendary things down here. All of these could be quests and they have some like actual lore to them, but I don't even think this belongs in that area.
There's a reason, yeah, they're in the game.
It should just be like a raids intro. If that's like, if they wanted to introduce story mode, they call it story mode. Like, if they wanted to introduce an easy mode of ToB, I would rather they have been more honest about it and just given us like a tutorial or something.
So it felt like, because if you guys, if we remember, looking back at 2018, a month after Theater of Blood came out, people were upset by how hard Theater of Blood was. And you had to be in a team of 5 to do it. And people were kind of like, well, this is like the barrier to entry is so high. So they pitched the idea of having entry mode, which was going to be what we have now, story mode. But the only difference is you could unlock a couple uniques, and like it was like the Avernic Defender was one of them, and maybe like the Justy armor. Anyways, it ended up not passing. People were upset, but what they did was they allowed the raid to scale down to teams of 3 as a way to make it a little bit more accessible. If you don't have 4 other friends, okay, maybe you can find 2 more instead. So they did that, and it almost felt like, well, no, it didn't almost. It really felt like they wanted to bring out entry mode today in 2021, and they said, well, how can we get this to pass? Oh, people love quests. Quests never fail. Let's tie it to a quest.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody has time to write a quest. No, it's fine. We won't write the quest. We'll just pretend it's a quest, and whatever. the office cat can write the quest for this one. Yeah. Oh, look, and press the button. Let's pass it. Jesus. Damn it, cat! You just send the quest. We're not. You didn't write anything. Yeah, it's so. Anyways, I was very cheesed that there was no substance to the quest at all, and a lot of people are upset because people who have the quest cape, they now have to go do Theater of Blood, which it can be kind of hard. I mean, it is tough. And entry mode itself, or story mode, it's easier, but not everyone is like really big into PVM.
I agree with you. Being forced to do something with other people is like, sure, it's in theory good, but some people just want to play the game by themselves, and like we should respect that, right? Like, how annoying is it to do Shield of Arav and Heroes Quest? You have to do it with someone else.
Yeah, like, you gotta. Yeah.
And those are like universally hated mechanics, and now you're basically forcing people, if they're not great PVMers, which I mean, you have to beat Saren and like the Dragon Slayer, but those ones aren't bad. Like now they have to do Theater of Blood story mode, which is I don't know.
Like Theater of Blood story mode now is like considered technically the hardest quest, which is crazy to think about, because now you have this new the hardest quest just got introduced into the game. But it's not a quest. So a lot of people are like, well, why? This makes no sense.
Yeah, that's hard to answer. Like, I actually don't know if it is. I haven't tried story mode, but it'd be cool to hear opinions of people who have like just done it and also done like Saren and Galvek, and see what their opinions are, and like ranking the 3 of them. If you do it solo, almost certainly it's the hardest.
Yeah, that's what I think a lot of people were considering it as, because some people are and that's the beauty of RuneScape is like, you're not forced to do everything if you don't want to.
Exactly. But
so if you want to do this solo, you can, but it's now going to be the hardest quest in the game. And the new requirement, some people have this like, I can get it because on my Iron Man, I'm kind of trying to do this, where you want to get the quest cape with as low as combat as possible. Beforehand, it was 85 because of Dream Mentor, which for some reason Dream Mentor just has 85 combat as a requirement. This quest now has level 90. So it's raised the bar there a little bit.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, you can still get carried through. Like, if you want to just get a completion, you can just get some people to carry through. But what if you don't have friends or a clan that can carry you through a ToB, and you don't realistically want to learn or ever even want to try the content? Being forced to do it, that's and we mentioned this last week, right? When we talked about the quest, like that's the downside. But if it was introduced in a way where it was like, when you went through the quest for the first time, it was like really quite easy, more of a story than actually mechanics. And then you could actually go through and try the entire encounter in like an easier version of Theater of Blood. Like, that would have been so sweet, because it'd be best of both worlds. But now it's just it's neither.
No, you're right. I've seen on the subreddit some amazing suggestions on how it should have been. So, I mean, once again, the player base is creating the content that they want. That happens all the time. It happens with the ornament kits, right? But whatever, fine. It's frustrating, but it's frustrating that like they put this out there and then we get all pissy and they're like, oh, well, what do you guys want to see instead? And it's like, okay, do you like? I thought this team is growing. Like, what work is being done? Yeah. Not to be. Maybe I'm being a little bit rude, but
I don't know, dude. I don't think you are being rude. I think it's perfectly fair to complain when they do a lazy ass job like this. Like, I'm gonna give them some praise for hard mode because it was cool to see at least some new content, but the story mode was pathetic.
Yeah, it's not a quest. And so anyway, some of the suggestions I've seen about what the quest should have been, and I was like, holy shit, this has the perfect ingredients to be an amazing quest. Because if you talk to some of the people outside, they mention how a group of adventurers has gone in before you. And when they were previewing Theater of Blood, they did it by showing 3 adventurers, one in full Void range, one in full Ancestral, one in full Bandos, and they're like, we're going into the Theater of Blood. And they go in and the quest, the trailer ends. And now you as a player, if you go into Theater of Blood, aesthetically, it is amazing. You're in this like, kind of, it's not a coliseum, but like the idea is like it is like an arena. People are watching, even though you can't really see anyone watching, but you'll see the dead bodies of adventurers that came before you, and you can find the 3 adventurers that were in the trailer. There's, I forget what room it's in. Is it Zarpus?
They're no. Oh, the dead bodies. Yeah, they're sort of. I think it's in Bloat. There's definitely one of them.
Yeah, you can see the guy in Bandos who's been decapitated, and then the Bandos sword is stuck into the ground, and he's like
it's
dead
so
kneeling. It's gruesome. And then I think it's the mage you can see in the Nilo's room. It's kind of like embedded in a bunch of cobwebs, and it's like just stuck there. So shit like that, you can go in and then you look and you're like, oh, I can kind of piece together what happened. These guys died. These guys died in this raid. But what they could have done is and this gives a great chance for and this is another problem. Anyone who's doing entry mode, the only way to learn about the mechanics beforehand is by either trial and error or by going to a wiki or watching a guide or having somebody tell you. But what they could have done was in the quest, they could explain how the quest works. You could watch maybe the adventurers, a cutscene where they go into the theater and you watch them kill or go through the bosses, and maybe one of them dies, but you can kind of learn the mechanics by watching this team of 3 go in before you, and then eventually they get killed. Now it's your turn to go in.
That's cool, like a flashback style. One of my favorite quests in the game is that Anacris Lament, the one where you have to go in the desert and you keep seeing the flashbacks to Zeros and camel. And I just love that quest so much. It felt like really sweet, and there's like the ice barrages coming out from the boss in the cutscenes.
Oh man,
yeah, I love that quest. So something like that would have been so cool, dude. Or even like, I don't know, this would have been harder to make, but imagine you go in and there's like a preset team of NPCs with you to like guide you through during the quest. You know what I mean? Like there's 3 of them with you and they help you DPS the boss, so you really don't have to do much to get through it if you're not a PVMer.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like how like Wise Old Man or something would help you with like parts of Dragon Slayer 2, or Neve helps you with parts of Monkey Madness 2, things like that.
And you know what? That's a great point, because some of the most fun parts in this game is when you're teaming up with NPCs, because that doesn't happen often. But in slight spoiler alert, when you team up with Neve in Monkey Madness 2, it's like kind of cool to watch her actually fight with you. And you're like how often does this happen? Usually it's just you. There's no NPCs on your side. Mm-hmm. And going back to when I was a kid, stumbling across the Khazard battlefield, I think it is, where the gnomes are facing the Khazard soldiers.
Oh yeah, that place is sweet.
Yeah, stumbling on it when you're a kid, you're like, yo, this is awesome. Like, these people are fighting and they don't even care about me. Nobody's focusing me. They're too busy with themselves. And I remember like kind of choosing sides. Oh, I'm going to help the Khazard soldiers and kill off these gnomes for a bit. And then I'm going to change sides and level out the field by helping the gnomes. That sort of stuff was always kind of cool. And it really helps from like a world building aspect. It really makes you feel like you're not very important. Everyone else is doing their own thing, and you're just there. You can help out, sure, but I don't know. It's one of the cool things about RuneScape. You're not the hero who's going to save the world. You're just another soldier who's kind of maybe delivering messages and stuff like that. And sure, you're killing bosses sometimes, but a lot of the big bosses, you're getting help from other seasoned soldiers.
Lots of options they could have done, but we could sit here literally for all afternoon talking about things they could have done. And never once would have get a Casey on easy mode and get 2 lamps been something we would have suggested.
Oh,
oh wow, man, we gotta move on from this.
We gotta move on because I'm gonna keep going in circles. But I saw a funny meme on the subreddit which basically encapsulated everyone's feelings towards it. Somebody made a post on Reddit saying, "I can't wait for the new quest called Go Do a Castle Wars round."
Yeah, that one.
Or do a round of Castle Wars.
That was pretty funny. Yeah, we're gonna have to wait like 12 months for it, so don't worry.
Oh boy. And I think my annoyance with this, it's like there's no standards when it comes to content in old school RuneScape, because we can get grade A content, but in the same breath, on the next update, it can be a solid D grade content. And there's no, like, where's the standards? Who's canceling projects because they're not up to par? Like, nobody. They're just like, no, pump them out.
Yeah, and obviously we've touched on this, but the overall thing is the sort of lack of consistency with which things are coming out. Like, there's just no. And sure, they're blaming like items, and we can't release even more powerful items. Then, I mean, there's not even like mid-game content coming out though. At least we got like Temperos and Spulker and like Seractus and stuff like that. They could just release more of those side projects as well while they're working on the big stuff. But I'm hoping, and I have faith now that they are finally pushing through all the nerfs, that we will get Raids 3 or some kind of late game new content, hopefully by the beginning of the next year.
Yeah.
Which is still a long way away. Like that's so far away from now, you know?
I know for us to say like, oh, I hope in 2022. Yeah, it's
in a year I could be in theory like basically completed raids on my account.
Yeah. Totally.
So.
And you know what? I think it'd be hopefully we get a RuneFest this year. I think that's the big one, so that we can see what their roadmap is. They do these gazettes randomly, like bi-monthly, or it's hard to tell. There's no actual schedule, but it's nice to know what the roadmap looks like, because we're just sitting here wondering, like, when's Raids 3 coming out? And, man, we say it all the time, but they could already have it in the works. But I think part of it is we're getting antsy, and we just don't know if it's coming out soon, or if they haven't even started thinking about it yet. We don't really know.
But Group Iron Man, also whatever.
Yeah,
it does. Let's not talk about that. Let's move on from it. That's for another day.
Yeah, we need some updates on there. What is it, winter 2017?
Exactly. Yeah, it's that situation over again. It's going to be released, I think, this year, but we'll see.
Yeah, we will have to see. No updates yet, but anyways, I had to get a lot of that off my chest. They did come back 2 days afterwards saying, all right, people seem a little upset about story mode, that they feel like we've missed the mark on it. So I think we're going to take a look at this.
How could they not see that? Like, it makes no sense. Like, literally, I imagine everyone who's listening right now probably has similar feelings. Oh, I can't assume that, but I've seen many, many people feel the same way.
Yeah.
Like veteran toppers, new players, like and the quest thing is separate to the fact or whether or not easy mode is in the game. They're completely separate entities, in my opinion. Like, you have to judge them separately.
And this is going to lead to my one positive note for entry mode. It seems like they really wanted to bring story mode. They wanted to bring story mode into the game, an easier version of Theater of Blood, but they didn't know how to make it pass without tying it to a quest. So they tied it to a quest. Right. Mm-hmm. The quest, and they're like, you know what? The quest is going to suck. We'll just go back and we'll fix it. And then everybody will love us if it's really good. They did that with Zaya. That when Zaya first came out, it looked like shit. And then they came back.
Why not just put in a bit of effort first, or even like some effort, and make it like okay? Like, sure, great. You got to pass the polls. Now, at least do something with it, but whatever, man.
So I wonder, maybe we can cue this conspiracy music first.
I was going to say, the conspiracy music should have been cued for the last half hour. Go for it. Hit it.
So I wonder, with story mode. So one thing that I've seen, this is the positive thing, a lot of people are wanting to do Theater of Blood now. We're seeing it in the CC, I see it on the subreddit. A lot of people are trying entry mode, story mode, and they're then proceeding to either find friends. I see people in the subreddit, hey, I'm looking for a clan to do Theater of Blood with. I really want to try it out. A lot of these players are like, they feel more confident in actually getting into Theater of Blood. And because it's daunting to get into it. I'm like 12 KC, and a lot of the times I'm like, oh, like, I'm not always actively pursuing to do runs because it is hard content. It's very punishing, and sometimes you don't want to feel like you're holding the group back. And when you're a new player, you are going to hold the group up a little bit. Luckily, most of the time, groups are going to be okay with it, and they're going to have more fun because they like bringing new players through it. But it's still daunting to get into. But entry mode allows you to try it with some, I saw a bunch of people trying entry mode with a group and either completing it or even still failing it, but then saying like, this is fun, I want to try the real thing now. So then they look to move into normal Theater of Blood. So I wonder if they wanted to bring out this entry mode to get more people doing Theater of Blood, because they can see that when people are doing Theater of Blood and Chambers of Xeric and all this endgame content, they're more likely to stay engaged in the game, and they're not going to get bored and quit. Because, sure, Theater of Blood is right there, but if it's too daunting, like Inferno's there, but it's super daunting for me that I'll still probably get bored of the game and quit before I try Inferno, because of how anxious I am to actually try it. So to me, it's like, it's there, but I'm not going to try it anytime soon.
All right, we can take this a level. Let's take this a level deeper.
Oh, let's do it.
What if?
What if? I love what ifs.
What if the gold farming community has infiltrated Jagex?
Mod Jed, is he back?
Maybe. No. Mod Jed was a PVMer. What if a mid-level gold farmer has entered? They've been trying to infiltrate Jagex because they're having a hard time completing Theater of Blood on their accounts because no one will take them with their Amulets of Furies and their basic Void. So what they're trying to do is get an easy mode pass so they can learn Theater of Blood so that they and their friends can continue to make money.
Oh, I think they're like, you know what? It'll be easier for me to get a job at Jagex and convince them to do an easy mode than it would be to like learn Theater of Blood a few times. I think you might be onto something.
Absolutely.
We'll have to keep an eye out, because we have to see if Jagex makes any more dev blogs being like, yeah, we had to fire a bunch of employees. A team of 5 people joined, and we thought they were all just like random. Turns out they were clanmates, and they convinced us to.
Yeah, they're from a mid-game clan, and they ended up applying for the job. Yeah, and embellished their resumes.
Oh man, oh boy. All right, but so that's my positive part. Going back to the story mode is that people are wanting to try normal Theater of Blood.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
that's nice. That's good to see.
It is. It sure is.
But yeah, there we go, guys. There's a whole whack there, and I really. As much as I hate to complain, sometimes I feel like we get a little nitpicky, but it's like so hard not to when we can see what they can deliver. So when they drop the ball on something, you're just like, oh, I really want to ignore this. But, they came out with Below Ice Mountain, and what an awesome quest that was. We had a Rocky montage in it. And that's for free to play.
High praise for that quest. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, great music and everything. But not today. Not today we didn't, but maybe in the future. There we go. That's actually it for the news, too. It's kind of I guess dev blog wise. Yeah, we just got the one dev blog. But it looks like they're gearing up for a Kingdom Divided, the newest quest. Which, for some we played the trailer a little bit ago. I'm so excited for Kingdom Divided.
I fully expect it to be really good because they have been taking their time with this one. So
if it sucks, oh my god, I'm done.
Yeah,
we're shutting the podcast
I think
down.
There's going to be a huge backlash if it's terrible. But I fully expect it to be quality with some good writing.
Yeah, I sit there and I say it can't be, because also Mod Ed is a part of it. I don't know how heavily involved he is, but I've read that he is. And whenever he's done a quest, it kicks ass. Dragon Slayer 2 when he pitched at RuneFest, and I think it was in 2017, his pitch was the best pitch of the whole RuneFest update announcement. He was so good, so passionate, and that is still my favorite quest. It is the most epic quest we have, and
oh, it's so good, dude.
Yeah, and working on Kingdom Undivided, hearing that trailer, I go back and I listen to that trailer all the time because it's so awesome.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's great. But yeah, guys, there you have it. We're gonna take a quick break, but when we get back, we will get looking to wrap things up. So we'll be back in a moment. We are going to take a break and take a stroll over to the Grand Exchange, where we're going to talk about all the lovely people who are supporting the show and some of the fun things we've got going on if you want to support the show. Not just that, though, we're also going to talk about, because of all the support of the show, this new thing that we are going to be starting. That is right. Look, really excited about that. But before we do, we got to shell out a little bit, right? This is the Grand Exchange. This is where the scammers and the spammers and where Dills goes talk about how maybe you can earn a little bit of money. Who knows? So, hey, if you wanted a little bit more extra old school RuneScape content from the Wilderness Podcast, guys, there's so much good RuneScape content out there. I totally understand if you don't feel that way. If you don't feel the need to have to get more of the podcast content. But if you do, we do a weekly hangout session where we watch the Q&A that Jagex does, and we're trying to just incorporate every live stream that Jagex does. But for the most part, it's the weekly leadership live streams that they've been calling it, and they're pretty. Some of them, they're fun. They're I really enjoy doing them. A little bit more raw, not a whole lot of production goes into it, at least on my end, but it's cool. We get to sit down, we chat a little bit, we do a little bit of pre-talk before it starts, a little post-talk after it ends, and I pause it periodically to just chat a little bit, kind of go on some rambles. But the last one was really cool. We got some nice insight to kind of context on the background. And this summer is wrapping up to look really, really cool. They did a roadmap of what to expect in a few months, which looks decent. It's not bad. It's nothing crazy, but it's not bad. But what they said is, because they're not doing RuneFest, they're going to be doing another summer live stream where they talk about what you can expect. So if we're going to get Raids 3, this is where we're going to hear about it. And I am so looking forward to it. Big things might be coming to the game, and I'm really excited to hear what they have planned, because I really truly feel that 2022 is the year where we're gonna ramp and really see a lot of cool shit get dropped on us. Anyways, a little bit of a tangent, but hey, if you guys want to support the show, you can do that by going to patreon.com/TheWildernessPodcast. So of course, did it earlier, but we're gonna do it again. We gotta welcome Burt Macklin, Fairy, and Cynical Cyanide to the Patreon crew this week. Thank you guys for joining up and supporting the show. And of course, this episode is dedicated to Rozzle. So thank you so much for the support. And of course, our top tier supporters get every episode dedicated to them. And those people are Aiden A, Gentinu, Grunkle G, Spleemo, Dreadmonk, or aka Dreadful Monkeys, Matiawas, Sejuan, Hoyt, and Cynical Cyanide. But that's right, we can't stop there. If anything, we need to go full speed ahead, because I have to give a super duper awesome shout out to Strosity, who's been deserving the top tier shout out for 8 weeks. No, sorry, not 8 weeks, 8 months. I made a note somewhere, I can't find it, but it's multiple episodes because there was a little bit of a glitch in the system, and unfortunately he got overlooked. So he's going to be getting a few super duper awesome shout outs. And again, I mentioned earlier on, but yeah, we did an episode together. So if you're going backwards or going forwards and you're just binge listening to all the episodes, you're going to come across that one. So, which is really awesome. I had a lot of fun doing that one as well. Okay, but you know what? We can't stop there. Patreon is not where things end. You can go to buymeacoffee.com/dills instead. We can do a one-time donation if you prefer that. So I have to thank Timbuktu25, Salamander, Caradoc, and Terry Paramore for keeping me caffeinated this week. I really do appreciate it. And guys, the support has been amazing. It really has been. And I really want to find a way to take the support and kind of give the love back to the community as a whole. and we were talking about doing more events. Now with this new clan system, we're like, we should be doing more events because now you can kind of plan them in game to make it more obvious. But it would be kind of cool to do a skill of the week or a skill challenge of the week where we can kind of measure it. So we've been setting it up. A lot of it's gonna be automated. So if you're in the clan chat, you should already be automatically added into it. But and then in Discord, if you're not in the clan or if you're a guest in the clan, just reach out to myself or one of the mods or event managers in the Discord, and we'll get you added to the Wise Old Man site, which is how we're measuring all the how we're tracking all the skills, all the skill competitions. It's a great site. But so we're gonna be doing this every single week, and every week's gonna be a different skill. We're gonna do different measurements. So, you know, one week, the first week we're doing, it's gonna be just straight XP. Who gets the most experience will win. But we want to figure out ways, and we're playing around with different ideas so that, you know, not having it just experience gain. You're really opening it up to non-iron people, iron men or iron women. You're opening it up to end game players and people who can spend a lot of time playing the game. Not everyone can do that, so we want to make it so every week, if this is an ongoing event, why not have it every week where the measurement changes? So maybe we have EHP one week, maybe we measure rankings, how many rankings somebody might go through in the high scores, and this way different demographics of players will have different advantages each week to kind of make the winners more diverse as this competition happens. But I mean, a competition isn't fun unless there's a reward. So every single week we'll be giving away a bond to the winner. And honestly, that is all because of the support from the show. So thank you guys for doing that. I'm really excited to be doing this. And you know what? It's going to be a fun way for people to level up their accounts. Maybe some of the skills you've been sleeping on, you can now, you know, I can't wait for the thieving skill of the week to happen because I need to train that one up. But yeah, it's a great excuse to train some skills you might be slacking on while at the same time having a chance at winning a bond. So, and that's all because of you guys. So thank you so much for it. The support is amazing. It truly means a lot. Let's let the rambling stop, guys. Thank you so much for the support, and can't thank you guys enough, really. Let's get back into the episode, though. All right, guys, we are back. But Heartless, I think you gotta...
Yeah, so as promised, we'll tell you a little bit about the field trip from a teacher's perspective.
Field trip. Yes, we held it off till the end of the podcast.
Yeah, this is what it's all about. So, I don't know about you, but I had super fond memories of field trips when I was a kid, especially when I was young. Do you know what your favorite one was when you were young?
Ooh, do I know what my favorite field trip was?
Or like at least a memorable one?
Yeah, there's definitely been a bunch of very memorable ones. I remember they had we went to this field trip, and it was to this place called... So I live in Ontario. So if you live in Ontario, you might be familiar, but we have a little area that's a few hours north. I just say that generally, just wherever you are, a few hours north, and you'll be at this place called the Muskokas. It's cottage country for the most part, but you know, Ontarians, people in Ontario love the Muskokas. We have Muskoka styled barbecue restaurants everywhere. We have Muskoka chairs, which are the iron deck chairs that everyone has at their cottages. We went to a wildlife sanctuary there when I was a kid, and they had like bobcats. They had a lot of like foresty wildlife that we kind of already have in Ontario, but you got to see like wolves, you got to see bobcats and like minks and lynx, or one of the other. I don't remember which one it was, but you got to see some beavers, you got to, skunks, even though I see skunks in my backyard all the time, but still, it's kind of cool. Skunks are really cute. I kind of wanted one for a pet for a while. They remove the sack that makes everything stink, so you don't have to worry about that. But, and then like turtles, like a lot of like very basic. It's not like a zoo. It was a wildlife sanctuary, but you got to go around and see all these animals. It was really
like
cool to see the wolves.
Mostly local animals, right?
Yeah, and then you got to learn about them too. Like you would have this person who would pick up, like they'd have a bird, maybe like some hawk or something, and I'm going to show you some cool things. And
that's awesome.
I remember going there, and I loved it so much that I went home and I was like told my mom about it, and she's like, "That sounds cool." And then we ended up going there, like a few weeks later with my brother Deegan. We went up and checked it out. And then we went up a third time and they closed it down. So I don't know what happened.
Damn, oh, that's too bad.
So that happened. And the other memorable one, which was really cool, I don't remember too much about it because I was smoking a lot of weed in high school, which I 100%, I like fried my brain. But, and I really did not get the most out of these field trips. But we went to Canada's Wonderland, which is a giant theme park here. And it's a massive theme park. All these like really cool roller coasters. But we went there for a science class to learn about physics and, roller coasters and how they work kind of. Again, I don't remember exactly what I learned because I just went there to like, I'm going to eat a lot of pizza. I'm going to eat a lot of funnel cakes and let's go on some rides. And I probably didn't do the homework. So
yeah, that still sounds cool though. Good memories.
It was a very cool idea. Do you have a memorable field trip?
I remember that in grade 7, we went on this hike. So I used to live in the Okanagan in like central BC.
Okay,
and we went to this place called Enderby where there are these massive cliffs. And we hiked all the way to the top, but it was I remember it being chaotic. Like there wasn't enough adults with us. There was just us, one like education assistant and our teacher, and everyone
bunny system.
Everyone climbs up the mountain at vastly different paces. So we ended up being at the top because I was, quite athletic and loved to like go quickly through things. I like basically got to the top of the mountain with all my friends very quickly. And the teacher was just like miles behind us. So and we were we went right up to the edge of the cliff and we're like peeking our heads over the edge. It was unsupervised grade 7s, which is extremely dangerous. So I feel like as a teacher now, or just as an adult, I feel really bad about how poorly that field trip went. But it was great memories for me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I remember coming down. We're just having a blast being together, just like kind of hiking through the backcountry. On the way down, so many people got injured because it was so steep. I remember like people being like covered in thorn bushes and being like scraped up. And I just remember my teacher being just frantic. But it was, I loved the trip. Yeah, it was a really memorable one. But yeah, looking back as an educator now, I'm like, my God, that teacher probably never did that one again.
Yeah, you got to be careful because like, especially if you're going and like doing a field trip like that where you're out in the wilderness, like the wilderness just gives no shit if you're a kid.
No, it doesn't.
It can be sketchy, and like even this every summer there's a horror story of some of a field trip or a summer camp where you go for a hike or something and you're canoeing and a kid can't swim. You know what I mean? The potential to have like an awesome experience is there, but you really have to like, especially these days, you need to really have like 5 adults per kid to make sure everyone stays in line.
Yeah, you really do.
What are you thinking for your?
So I was going to tell you about that. So unfortunately, this year we are not allowed to use buses for COVID reasons because COVID has been really bad, and that's it's like partly political, but it's also partly for safety.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, it doesn't really make sense, but we're not allowed to bus to places, which sucks. So that cuts off like essentially all of my options because we're kind of in the suburbs. I had planned. So even with buses, there are still not many options because we can't really take huge groups indoors because most places has policies where you can't have over 10 people in my province.
Right.
So we're essentially locked out of everything. At the beginning of the year, I thought about taking them up to like the Hawk Center where they have like a ton of birds.
Oh, that's cool.
So that would have been really fun, but it ended up getting like everything got canceled. So I was hoping that I'd be able to get a bus down. We have a really beautiful lagoon and a huge beach down maybe like 20-minute drive away. But unfortunately, that idea got skewered. So thankfully, there's about 45 minutes from our place. The nicest area I can get to is like a university campus, and it's going to be dead quiet this time of the year, or it's like a college campus. And they have these gorgeous grounds with like a castle on them and a huge forest next to it. So I think I'm going to go there and plan some like basically summer camp style activities, like capture the flag, camouflage, some old school games. This tells you how much schools have. I only have a $300 budget for my field trips for the entire year. Specifically for field trips. Now that depends on each school based on like, because it comes from the parents. They're the ones who pay for that. And this year it's been a bit down because of COVID. So I essentially have $300 to blow in one day. which for this kind of trip where there's not many supplies necessary, it's a reasonable amount. So I'm thinking about ordering them. We're gonna get some pizza, which is, you can't go wrong with that.
Oh yeah.
And then I've ordered an ice cream truck to roll by in the afternoon.
No way.
This is gonna be legendary. So I prepaid for it, and so they can just get anything they want from the ice cream truck, and they just have no idea. So
yeah, you can't tell them. You got to let it be a surprise.
It's gonna be a surprise for sure.
They have to hear it from the ice cream. You know, the music that comes from the truck.
I'm super stoked. So
that's
That.
amazing.
And it's on our second to last day of class, so we'll go play some games, have some food, and enjoy a treat, and then walk back.
Man,
and,
being an adult sucks. We don't get any of that shit.
Well, yeah, that's what
my work never does that stuff for me.
It's one of the best parts of my job is getting to do this kind of stuff. So
that's really neat.
I'm looking forward to it, and I'm gonna have one other adult with me at least. I have an education assistant in my class who looks after the girl with autism.
Okay, yeah,
because she can't really speak.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of hard time with communication. So she'll at least have an adult with me. It should be fun.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great way to end the year. Is it grade 5?
Grade 4. Yeah. So
grade
they're 10 years old.
Okay.
Some of them are 9 still, I guess.
It had me think, because I was trying to think, like, when I threw my those field trip ideas, those are also the only ones that really came to my mind. But there's so many more. It's just like my brain is just smoking weed in high school. Oh, yeah, don't do it. It'll fry your brain.
There are like classic things, right? Like you go swimming and you go ice skating, and those things are like not too hard on the budget, which is why, and they're a lot of fun. So that's why schools tend to do, because then you get to go like and do one of them at least once every like 6 weeks or something.
Totally.
And then maybe you're able to get pizza for like the last day of the year. But we're working on like pretty tight budgets, so there's not a lot to do unless teachers like fork out their own money, and most teachers are very caring and tend to do so sometimes. So.
When I was in grade 5, I just remember this as we were talking. What we had this really cool experience where I grew up. It was like really in the boonies, like the country, like just like very my school was out in the country area, and what my teacher did was she linked up, or maybe she had a friend, but somehow she knew a teacher that was from the city or Toronto, which was like couple hours away, or maybe it was like an hour and a half away or something, whatever. But what happened is that they were also grade 5, and we got paired up with a pen pal. Once a month or something, we would write a letter, we'd send it off, and they would send it back, and then they'd say like, oh, you have to give them something fun, like maybe one of your toys or something, but you have to give them a little gift, and we would exchange gifts and stuff. And it was really cool to have like a little pen pal that you would just communicate back and forth. You got to know this person. Maybe it won't work these days because with social media, I don't know how old kids are on like Twitter and stuff, but part of the fun was like you didn't really know who this person was. And then at the end of the year, both classes met up in the middle, and we were at like a park, and we had like a barbecue for a field trip.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was neat, and we got to meet all these people, and it was really cool because because they were from the city, you got to meet like this whole a whole different demographic of kids and stuff, you know. And growing up in the country, I think it was like a really good experience, because like where I grew up was like a lot of like we were all like white kids, but then you meet up with the people from the city, and you got like a lot of different cultures you got to meet. Mm-hmm. And it was like a really cool experience to kind of be introduced to people who are very different from you, but also you guys were the same. You know what I mean? Like we both love Pokemon cards and all this stuff, and it was a really
still kids.
Thinking back. Yeah, it was a really cool experience, and like I didn't think much of it, but I was just thinking back now. I was like, man, that's really cool that my teacher had gone ahead and did that. I don't know if it would work these days because with cell phones and shit.
It sort of like draws parallels to how people meet these days too. Like you meet online and you never meet face to face. Like you're playing video games or doing like a shared enjoyable interest together. In this case, it was school, so you're forced to do it. But still, like you're meeting someone through a medium that's not face to face. So I don't know. I think it still happens. So that was like a super cool thing that your teacher did for you, man.
Yeah, it was cool as like kids. And as you said, like now there's so many people that I talk with all the time. And even, man, last recording, this is like a little behind the scenes, but we all hopped on video chat for our last recording. And like for some reason, we just never done that before. I just never thought about it actually. And I was like, you know, I know you and I have hopped on once before, and I think maybe I've done it once with Magpies, but at the same time, I'm like, you know what? We talk all the time, but I don't really see you guys ever. And but playing video games, you don't think about it that much. Like, who is the person behind the?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Like some of my closest friends are online, if not most of them. So I just never see them face to face. It's just strictly voice. So
Yeah,
the
you don't
world's
even think about it. Yeah, but
it's definitely changed. I think it's important to teach. I've been trying at least my best to teach kids how to like do so safely. Anyways, nice to reminisce a little bit once in a while.
Oh, it is. So yeah, there it is, guys. What is your favorite field trip? What kind of field trips do people around the world do? I remember talking to someone in Norway, and they were saying what a tradition they have there is when they're in grade 12, you and a bunch of friends, I forget what the name of it was, but you and a bunch of friends you plan and you buy a bus and you pimp it out and you make it a party bus. You spend all year decking it out for like and then at the end of the year when you all graduate, everybody takes their buses and they go to like a parking lot. They have these massive parties.
Dude, I've heard some Scandinavian stories about graduating. They just have some insane traditions there.
Yeah. I was like, that's so nuts. And I looked it up and it's this massive thing. And I was like, that's really cool. So I'm curious what other people, what kind of field trips they did. All right. Guys, you can let us know your stories at TheWildernessPodcast@gmail.com, or you can get in touch in-game, WildCC. Actually, if you're going to tell us a fun story, maybe best to do it on Discord, on Twitter, or on an email, because I'll forget. I'm not going to write it all down. But hey, if you do want to hang out in-game, WildCC is our friends chat. Yes, we're calling it friends chat now because we do have a clan, Wild, that is open. Get in touch with one of the mods, and they will get you in there. It's a kind of annoying process, but we'll make sure you get in there if you want to join. If you want to get in touch on Twitter, at TheWildernessRS, and of course our Discord, so you don't miss out any future drop parties. You can find a link down in the description of this episode or on Twitter itself. And I think that's it. My Twitch is twitch.tv/Dills. I haven't streamed in like over a month and a half, but hey, I do sometimes, and I probably will again at some point. How do you want to plug anything? Anything pop up this week?
Nope. Come join the clan. It's been really cool to have everyone in the clan hall. We are throwing some fun events, so come on in.
Awesome stuff. All right. So, of course, our song of the week. Do you have a song ready, or should we pull up the old list here?
You know, I did until last week. I can't remember what it was now, though. Oh, wait. I do have one. But it was last week to celebrate the Ellie, the Corp Cave one.
Let's do that. Okay.
What it's called.
It's a little late, but
it's called Bane, I think.
Bane, I see it here.
Yeah, it's called Bane. There you go.
Awesome. So there you have it. Bane is a music track unlocked during the fight of the corporeal beast. Instruments used: pipe, organ, horn, flute, harp, strings, voice. Ooh, voice. Wow. Percussion. It was composed by Chris Jolly. I've never heard that name before. It's interesting. And Bane is a variation of the RuneScape track Bane of Summer from the 29th of July in 2008. There's a slight difference between the old school RuneScape version of this song and the actual one released in 2008, due to the different qualities in sound banks or instruments used. It's an 8-minute song. Whoa, they went hard on this one. Cool stuff.
Holy.
Oh, there you have it. Yeah, let us know what your thoughts on hard mode and easy mode. And until then, we will see you on the next one.
Take care.